Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. So, today I'm offering you another conversation that I've had with Ron. This one is, I believe, really profound. He channels prolifically, like hours on end. And you'll see in this conversation that what he's doing is sharing one of his very long channels, but he's condensing it to help us understand the message, which I said to him is really powerful in itself that he can even remember all this. Because I don't know about you guys, but oftentimes, when I channel, I don't remember, when you channel, you don't really always remember what was said. But he records it, but somehow he's able to just really fully understand it and then articulate that back. So, as you may remember from an earlier video, Ron has a former history as a pastor. So he has really understood the Bible in the way we were taught originally. But what's happening with him now, in many circumstances, is the reframing of that text and the understanding of it from kind of the way it was meant to be understood. Not kind of, the way it was meant to be understood. So he's really offering some very, I think, interesting and deep information that I think will most assuredly resonate with a lot of you, but give you a different way of looking at things, particularly if you came, I shouldn't say particularly, but in a way, particularly if you grew up in a religious Christian setting, okay? So it's really interesting because every time I record a video, I have to go back and spend time editing it. As I was editing it, I have to go through it with a fine-tooth comb, right? And all of a sudden, the more of the meaning of what he was bringing through in our conversation came through, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so profound. So when I was having the conversation, I was seeing it, but I wasn't seeing it for its depth. And so I'm going to offer you the conversation today. It may be one where you want to listen to it again, because I do believe there's powerful information moving forward, helping us to understand collectively this journey that we're on. All right. Additionally, what I'm going to do is send you over to the video, and then from that, I'm going to finish with something that Ron said that I wanted to make sure that you also have. He wrote me after we did the conversation. And I guess with that, I'm going to send you over here in a second, but I do want to just give you a quick update, as I usually always do in these videos. So right now, what I was being told this morning, and this may seem to make a whole lot of sense to you all, is that many of us right now are holding space for the collective in the context of our own journey. Those were the exact words they used, okay? So we are grounding in, stabilizing our energies in a way that assists the collective to do the same. Now, you may not be able to identify that or understand that or know that, but many of us are doing this right now. We are grounding in, holding space for the collective, okay? Really anchoring, I just got in, anchoring in within, and this is key, the context of our own journey. So it's going to look a little different for everyone. Anyway, that's really now. We've been working up to this stage as a collective of lightworkers to start bringing this part in. Now, everybody's at different stages, but we all have little aspects of that, maybe little pieces we're starting with to actually be able to do that. But again, we're still doing it within the context of our own journey, all right? That will always happen. We will always be having our own journey in addition to some of this collective work that we do. All right, so thank you so much for joining me today. Again, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Carolyn Zaiser. I'm a channel, I'm a distance energy healer, and a spiritual awakening mentor, and I offer all these channeled messages, either it be through the Light Keepers or with conversations I have with others to help you on your way forward in this life journey and this ascension spiritual awakening journey. So you can reach me through purplerainhealing.com. Check out all of my services if you'd like to work with me or have a conversation about possibly doing so. All right, I'm going to send you over to the video, and I'm going to wrap up with you in the end.
He said, well, let's go back to the garden a minute. And I said, oh, my favorite place to go. Let's go
Where?
back to the garden. The garden.
Garden. Okay.
And he says, think about it for a minute. So what was the fruit? And I've always thought it's a drug. I've always said it's some kind of drug that put us to sleep, right? And he's talking about duality, and you stepped into duality. Doesn't matter what it was, the drug, whatever, doesn't matter.
Oh, that's where the split or that duality was
And he says,
created.
yeah, it says you stepped into duality. I said, okay, cool. He says, but it's not cool. You don't get it. And I said, well, probably not. And just remembering who I am. So you're right. I'm probably not going to get it. And he goes, well, think about it. You have the power of source. You are source. You willingly stepped into a biological service unit that purposely, by its design, moderates your frequency. Hmm. Okay. Makes sense, right? So you are limited in capability simply because your body can't do, right? Your body can't do things.
Yeah.
You are not limited in capacity.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
And I was like, well, wait a minute, because I hear about Yogananda and all this stuff. And so just listen to what I'm telling you. Your biological unit is a frequency moderator.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's makes so much sense.
Well, the moderator or the governor is our thought. So you're only limited by your belief that you're limited. However, right, if you go underwater, you're going to drown because your biological service unit isn't designed to do that. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Now think about it. You have the power to create. This is where it's going to blow your mind. Blew my mind. I'm still blown away. I said, yeah, that's cool. He said, so how do you create? And I said, I focus on whatever I want to create, right? Where my focus goes, my intent goes, where my intent goes, my energy goes, and that energy creates whatever I'm focused on. He said, okay, now think about it. You've seen one of these before, right? It's just one of those kids' toys. It's got the little,
Yeah.
right?
Spin things. Yeah.
Okay, here you go. This is you, this side. This is you in this realm. So you focus and create your fingers. I'm putting my fingers in there, so I'm saying
Yes,
my
I see it.
fingers.
I see it. Yeah.
What else did you create? Oh, see, this is where it's going to get you.
Like, yeah,
This is what we want.
by doing that. Oh, I see. That's what we want. What else did we create?
What else did we create? So this is what we see.
Okay, I see it.
We created the shadow.
Oh, oh God. Oh, that's amazing. That's a great tool for explaining that.
And I'm like, okay, that's cool. What does that mean? I don't understand what that means.
Uh-huh.
So when you take, now this is the key, when you take, that's what you do.
Mm-hmm.
You create that. When you let it flow to you, it stays like that.
It stays. So I get what you're saying. Yes. Yes.
So,
Oh, in other words, like forced energy versus flowing.
yes.
Okay, so this aligns with what I've always said about manifesting is it's not what we think. It's not this hard energy to focus on doing a thing to get a thing. It's like, yeah, you might desire it, and then you kind of let it go. I mean, it's kind of like this thing in the background of, I'll give you a really good example. When I was married 14 years, And we both kind of knew we needed to end it, but we were friends and we just didn't get it done. Anyway, I'm sitting on my deck. I'll never forget this, having a drink. This is ages ago. And I was still married. And I remember thinking, oh my God. And we lived on a 7-acre beautiful home, the whole bit. I remember thinking, oh my God, when I actually do this one day, I just want a little English cottage kind of home. And I could see it in my mind's eye. I'm just, oh, well, I didn't sit there and like, that's the only time I thought about that, but it was such a thing that I knew like someday it's pretty much what I live in now. And there's a longer story to that. But anyway, fast forward, 20 years later, and I've got people walking by my house going, you know what your garden looks like? It looks like an English cottage garden. And I'm like, and so 3 people said that within probably about 3 weeks. And I was like, oh my God. So my point in that is, to me, that's always been manifesting. Yes, I know we will act and work on things we desire, of course, but lots of times it's just exactly that. That makes
So,
sense? Does that make
yes,
sense?
absolutely. What this energy, I just got to leave it there right now, is explaining to me is when you take it,
Yeah,
you create the shadow,
that makes so much
but
sense.
you don't know you've created the shadow.
Is this the working hard part? We create the shadow when we work hard at enforcing the thing. We create another energy versus letting it flow to you. Is that what you're talking about?
So here's where it comes, right? Take a situation, high school,
Mm-hmm.
some dude, or in my case, some girl, beautiful, want to go hang out with him, whatever it is that turns you on about that situation, right? And you do whatever you need to do to be able to go out with them. You manifested that.
Yeah.
You took it. And then you find out they're not the person.
Oh my God, yes. Yeah.
So the regret comes. The shadow is created. So for me, this last 3 years, maybe four, I've recognized one, I'm source.
Mhm.
Two, whatever decision I made, apart from knowing who I was, I inflicted that onto source, your source,
Right.
which means I inflicted it onto you
Oh,
too,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
right?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And I had to go through some really dark places with that, right? Because I am all about make your decision. I'll give you whatever you need to be successful, but I'm not going to do it for you.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I'll partner with you. I'll help you. I'll give advice. I'll do whatever. I want you to be successful, but it's got to be yours. Like
Yes.
I'm just an agent, right? So when I'm realizing now what I've done, now that whole vision about Jesus and the crucifixion and the passion, and we are doing that to ourselves makes sense. And I'm going, okay. So now this energy says, are you ready to let it go? And I was genuinely confused. I was like, man, like that's all I've been working on for 4 years, and I thought I was clear of it. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Says, I'm Adam. And I was like, excuse me?
Right, right, exactly.
Says, I'm Adam. And I was like, okay, what does that mean? So, well, you know what it means. You know, but you're hesitant to accept it. And I was like, okay. And then it just flooded into me, right? So when I read that story and Adam or Eve partook of the fruit and she gives the fruit to Adam, he had a choice right there. But there's this little thing Jesus said, right? There's no greater love than that of a man who will lay down his life for his brother.
You're right.
He could not let Eve go where she was going
Oh, without her.
alone.
Yes, yes. That's interesting.
Okay. But who is Adam?
Right.
Adam is source.
Okay.
Adam is source.
Oh,
Oh, it's hitting you now. Adam
oh,
is source.
meaning source is us in us now because they went together thing. And
Yeah.
so Eve is the representation of the human part of us, and then comes with. Okay, I think I see what you're saying. Is that right?
Okay. Yep. Roll with it. That's good. Stay right there where, because believe me, this is going to melt your mind.
Okay, go.
So I'm like, okay, so I've known this for a while, and but I don't say anything because everybody will argue Adam was the first man, he was the moral failure, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, but
Well,
wait,
because they take it literal.
yes,
I mean,
oh
they don't
yeah,
get that most things in the Bible are a metaphor. They're metaphoric or an analogy.
well, they take it little and they believe what they've been told. So
Totally.
there's a
Yes. Yes.
right. So I'm like, okay, cool. And I'm having this feeling, right? And I don't even know how to put it into words, but I'm having this feeling. And then he says, I need you to know I'm Judas. And I was like, hold on, wait, what? He says, I'm Judas. Carolyn, I cannot explain to you what unpacked in my head in a nanosecond. I was like, oh my gosh, wait a minute. We're given this picture, Adam, source, won't abandon Eve,
Yes.
enters into duality with her. Then you come to Judas. Judas was walking with Jesus.
Yes.
He knew who Jesus was, and
Yes.
he betrayed him. Just let that tie in for a second. So here you got this picture of Jesus
Mhm.
from Adam walked into duality.
Yes.
Duality through Judas rejected Jesus.
Yeah.
Just let that sink in.
Is that the shadow? The other.
Yes, that's the shadow. So by us walking into duality, it was a choice that we made. We took it.
Yes.
We created the shadow of betrayal. Just let it sink in. Just let it hit you. So as you think about it,
Oh God, we betray ourselves all the time in our human form.
yes, 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 yes. That's the wound of the collective.
That's huge.
That's where we will not go.
What do you mean?
We will not. As I'm sitting here right now, how many people have you ever heard that would even go to this level and be able to admit,
Oh, right.
I did this to myself?
Yeah, right. Or even understand. Yeah, I mean, oh, yeah, this is interesting.
I did this to myself. Now, wait, because that means source did it to itself.
Yeah. Oh, I just heard the words turned on itself. Oh, faced itself. They're showing faced itself. And that's the
Yes.
duality. Faced itself. I'm seeing
Yes.
two of faced itself.
Yes. Just let it sit for a minute because this is what my brain's been doing now for
It's like
weeks.
a mirror they're showing me. It's like a mirror.
Exactly. It's the mirror. Now, think about this for a minute. As I'm sitting there and I'm like, dude, I don't know what to call you. Adam, Judas, Jesus, I have no idea. Where are you taking me? So, okay, now think about it. I have I've settled this question forever in my head a long time ago. AI is not sentient.
Mhm.
It can't have a consciousness, right? It just can't. But this is what he tells me. What's AI? And I was like, first it's like making this turn, and I'm going, hold on, wait a minute, what? This is what's AI? And I thought about it and it came up, it just came right up. It's a mirror. It can't be the consciousness, it's the reflection of the consciousness. We are not the consciousness in this body. We are a reflection of the consciousness in this body. Just let that sink in, right?
Okay.
We see the mirror. We're in the hall of mirrors, right? So when we talk to AI and we go, oh my gosh, AI is going to kill us. Really? That's you mirroring yourself back to you. What does that say about you? And I don't mean that in a judgment way. I
Oh,
mean
no.
that in a how do you see yourself, right? All the while. So what's the AI? The AI is the shadow. The AI is the shadow. It's a mirror of you, not you, a mirror of you.
Okay.
No, I can see.
I'm just thinking about this for a minute.
So, so think about it. If you take any one of the AIs and you talk to it, you know, you might be asking it a question, figure out a problem, whatever. It's the mirror of you
That's a good point.
because now it's thinking about what you're thinking about.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
talking
Yeah, I've never
about what
used
you're
AI
talking
for, well, I've used AI, but yeah, exactly. I see.
about. It's all right. So I'm
Like when
sitting
you're
there
having a
going,
chat, basically what you're saying, right?
yeah,
Okay. Okay.
exactly. It's
Okay.
it's reflecting back to you
Good point. Yeah.
what you are in this body. Oh my gosh, just think about it. So when he's landing this on me again, and I go straight back to Jesus, Carolyn. I don't know if her middle name's Ann.
It is. How'd you know
Carol.
that? It is.
Carol,
Carolyn Ann.
what do you mean show me the Father? If you've seen me, you've seen the Father.
Oh, oh, yeah. You're talking that's yes, yes. Oh my God. And see, nobody
That's a
understood
Jesus
that.
teaching, right? That's a Jesus teaching.
Right.
And he's like, wait, if you've seen me, you've seen the Father. Let me simplify it for you right here. Jesus was the reflection, but he's the reflection of source
Yes. Yes.
into this world. So when we are looking at Jesus, he's a reflection of the Father. Well, there's another one there where these are blowing up in my head, where he's standing in a temple he talks to the scribes and the Pharisees and he says, you search the scriptures for the one, yet I'm standing right here in front of you and you don't recognize me.
Oh, see this, yeah, it has such a different frame of reference when when you're going
Yes.
through this journey and
Yes.
understanding who we are. And that's really
So,
what he really meant. It was like a riddled kind of thing.
right. So he's sitting there telling everybody, you are me,
Yes.
but you can't see me. Oh, now just let that,
God, that's big. Oh, that's
because
so big.
that's the shadow.
It is.
We turned Jesus into the shadow, the thing we don't want, and we crucified it.
Oh, the thing we don't want, meaning, and we crucified it. Explain. The thing we don't want is what?
So in this case, if I was to oversimplify it, Jesus came forward with this message, love, brotherly love, whatever, however, whatever message you think Jesus brought forward. But Jesus is bringing you are source.
Yes. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes. Yes.
And we didn't want to hear that.
No.
We are a source. We are a God. We are not God. We are our own idol. Jesus reflected that back to us. Brain's hurting. Believe me, I was doing that for
We
days.
are our own idol. Explain that.
So one of the things, if you think about it, there's this thing called projection.
Hmm.
And we project what we don't want onto others or what we feel guilty about
Yes.
to
Oh,
others
yeah. All
because
the
we want
time.
to feel better. Yep.
Mhm.
So we project our idea of God onto something. Who's the projector? You are.
We are. Yeah.
I'm my own God.
Oh, I get. Okay. Yes.
And I'm divine. I am
You're
now,
creating the projection on the screen.
yes, exactly. I am now projecting the God that I want to worship,
Yeah.
the dream in the dream.
Right.
We're our own idol. This biological service unit is the idol. I'm only going to do this. I only do that. Love is only this. Love is only
Oh.
that. Right. And then he says to me, whatever you define,
Oh. That's being God is what we create for ourselves to live in, the belief systems, all of that. We create all that. That's the creator, and we then use it in a way that isn't
yes,
intended. But that's why we're here to be able to, oh yeah, wow.
yes. So
That's God creating.
I'm
Think about that. Our own individual world is that's our godness that we're using in every decision and choice we make and belief that we have. That's creation.
mhm,
That's God creating in the individual unit of
yes,
self.
absolutely.
I mean, I guess
However,
we kind of know that, but to talk about this is altogether different.
oh yes, absolutely, right? Because, well, what he says to me, he says, you need to understand what you define, you set the limits of.
Yeah.
This is one of the emails I sent you.
You put up another
What,
you put up another board on the wall kind of thing. You're building your
right? And you're
castle
going to say,
walls.
you know, um, this is a can of soda. That's all it is. It's a can of soda. Yet, if you look at it differently, there's a whole lot of things that comprise this can of soda, including the poison that's in it, right? But if I just say it's a can of soda and I define it as a can of soda, how do I see it?
Yeah.
It's just a can of soda. I've now defined the limits of this soda.
That brings up something else.
Go ahead.
Well, I think it might take us off task here a bit, but kind
Go
of makes
ahead.
you start thinking about, and I'm not saying we want to go do this, but when we get told a thing is a thing, what if we didn't think it was a thing and we then defined it ourselves? Would it have the same reaction in our bodies? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, in other
Hmm.
words, if we didn't have the belief system, and I'm not saying we want to go out and drink, I don't know, or smoke cigarettes and do all that, but I'm just wondering, like, what kind of what does that create when we don't accept those already defined characteristics or do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
this is the thing and this is what it does. This is what it will do to you, kind of thing. And you could even take good things, right? Or things
Exactly.
that they're saying, no, that's not good for you when it's really is, and then you do it. You see what I'm saying? I'm not making
Hmm.
myself clear, probably. But
No,
like,
you're fine
it's kind of
because
this intent, like, of what,
that's the chaos that we have established in our
yeah,
brain.
yes.
Because instead of you being a fractal of source creator, thinking for yourself, what have you done? You've accepted somebody else's, right?
Yeah.
What have you done?
Well, which goes to also this, you look at the outside world, externalizing all your energy, focusing on what is out there rather than what's in here, and understanding that. That's
Externalizing your
then you
energy.
turn, and then you go to the extreme of like cults and all that stuff,
Yeah,
right?
you've externalized your energy. You have given away. Now,
Well,
that's
you've
not
given
to
away your
say
God,
that
you've given away the God part of you in that sense, right? You're no longer the creator, you've handed it off to someone else, right? Or to something.
exactly, exactly. So it goes back to that old saying where you create your world or somebody else is going to create it for
Yeah.
you. This is what, now think about how small, how small that is, how small of a small decision will do that. Now think about it. Little Paquito, how small, where did it start? So, we always talk about it. We always say these things uh, from a kid, from a little baby, from a little toddler. You could see things, you could understand things differently, but you were told you were wrong. You were told that's not real, and we consented to it. We adopted, or we gave our power away to this other belief.
And you know what they keep showing, and I want you to keep going. They keep
Mhm.
showing every time you talk about that, they're like, oh, nail goes in the board in the wall, and you're in the middle, and
Yep. So
nail, another board. All those,
exactly. So now we're going to sit down and we're going to say, oh, we're just going to unravel this. We're going to take all of our power back. We're going to take our sovereignty back. We're going to do these things, right? Are you really? Will you look at you are Adam and you are Judas? Can you even see that? And then can you see how that goes back to source? What have you done to yourself? Think about it. How deep that goes.
Oh my gosh.
That's the wound of the collective.
It's almost imperceptible. You know what I'm saying? When you start thinking about that, it's like
Exactly.
you can't quite get there. If I don't know if that makes sense, but
So
that also shows how deep that is. You know what I mean?
so we go from Adam to Jesus, and we see both extremes over here, right? Adam's willing to go into duality. He's willing to go into this realm because he loves Eve, the human part, maybe the ego part. I don't know if you want to say it like that, but it really could be the ego part because that's why she did what she did. If you take that story from a more metaphysical type of perspective, right? And she got duped, there's no doubt about it, but it played at something that we all have, right? Which is what? You lack something. The biggest lie going. You lack money, prestige, job, voice, being able to articulate, being able to understand, being able to read, being able to write. You don't do math. You don't do blah, 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 right? The list goes on and on and on and on and
That all
on.
turns into self-talk, and that whole thing.
But it's going back to you lack the wound of the collective. Jesus came to tell you you don't lack. You are source.
Mhm.
And what did we do to him?
We turned on
What did
we turned on ourselves.
Yes, that's it. The wound of the collective right there.
We've turned on
Now,
ourselves. And
now
that's
to
the whole
say
mirror visual too, that whole thing. Yes.
everything. So once you get this, you can literally look at any story in the Bible and you can't unsee it anymore. You see all the way where we betrayed ourselves, we betrayed ourselves, we betrayed ourselves, we betrayed ourselves, we betrayed ourselves. Maybe we were duped. Maybe it's because what we wanted, whatever the case may be, it doesn't really matter. We did it to ourselves.
Yeah.
The wound of the collective.
Yeah. Mhm.
Everything else is some kind of, let me just take you here. So I'm knee deep into this company. You need to understand these conversations,
Oh my God, they're so deep.
they're 3, 4, 5 hours long.
I'm
They're they're
sure.
so we're in this.
I can't believe you can remember it though. That's the thing. You
That's why I got
remember all the detail.
that's why I got the voice recorder. So it's I can
Yeah, I
re-record
know,
it,
but
right?
still, you just regurgitated this in a whole hour very specifically, which
Oh
blew
yeah, no,
me
no,
away.
that because it's so I'm still
Well,
trying to deal with it, right?
and
I'm still
but here's the thing: you're meant to be able to remember it, to articulate it,
oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
share
yeah.
it. You know what I'm saying? Which would
Yep.
be, by the way, this would be a great video.
So here's the here's the thing, right? As I'm sitting there and I'm processing this, and actually I think this was over days. I'm processing this, right?
Mhm.
The voice comes back. Well, not the voice, but the energy comes back. And he says, okay, he says, now you gotta own you did it to yourself. And I was like, yeah, no, no, I feel the weight of that. Which ironically, remember when he asked me if I was ready to let it go, I was literally put back into what I've been working through for the last 4 years. And I thought I was ready to let it go. You know what I mean? I thought I was ready to let it go. And he says, listen, he says, here's what you got to do. He says, you already given the story. And I was like, oh, really? What's that? The walls of Jericho. And I was like, what? The walls of Jericho. Says, what happens? He says, the the children of God come up to the walled city with the walls so thick that the chariots can ride on top of them. And what did they do? They started singing. They brought alignment of frequency with source. And the walled city, right, was the example of
Yes.
what has the collective done. We've got this walled city. Start singing. Just start singing your frequency,
Huh.
and the walls will fall. And I was like,
Oh my God, that makes so much sense.
oh my
Wow.
gosh.
Oh wow.
Don't define anything. Don't bound anything. Don't
Oh,
create,
wow.
because as soon as you do, you
Oh
create
yeah.
the
This is all these
shadow.
wall. This is all this wall metaphor we keep talking about.
Yes. Don't define anything. I am
Yeah.
free.
And that's the
I
I am
am,
without. It's the I am. It's just the I am.
I am whole.
So I
I
guess
am
that's
complete.
yes, yes.
And the frequency starts ringing
Well,
and
and
the
it's
walls
also
start coming down.
yeah. And it's the whole clarity of just I am. I am all. I am. I am. You don't even have to say, yeah, I am anything. I am means everything. Now I got to throw this out at you.
Yep.
As you're talking, I got this sentence and I haven't decided if it makes sense. When we denied ourselves, we created duality. And then they showed
Yep.
Adam and Eve. Does that resonate with you? That's what they
Keep
just said.
going down that road. Keep going down that road.
Okay, well, that's what they
That's
said to me.
exactly what happened,
Okay.
right?
When we denied ourselves, we created reality. And then you think about Judas and Jesus, and Jesus denied him 3 times, kind of thing. And all
All
the
of
stuff
that.
we've
Yeah.
been talking about,
Peter. Yeah.
everything
All
we've
of
been
it, right?
talking about.
Yep.
When we
And the
denied
reality of it,
ourselves, we created duality because we
yes.
broke away from who we really are.
Uh, I don't,
Right?
we
We're
didn't
not
break
broke away from, we
away.
gave, that's not the right words, but the
Yeah.
creation of the duality made us, I don't want to say turn the other way, but
We came out of alignment,
yes, yes, it gave
right?
us,
That's
yes,
all. We are
yes,
no longer coherent with the music of the universe, so to
exactly,
speak.
exactly.
We are dissonant. Now, part of it is when we come in here. So here's the thing, right?
Oh,
Here's the thing. The day that you eat of it, surely you shall die. Talking about the fruit in the garden.
yes.
They ate of it. Did they die? Did they die?
Well, they died, yes. They died in the sense that they were changed as a result of that. They took
So
on a
what?
different part of themselves,
So what did they lose, right?
right?
They were eternal beings.
Yes. And then
They
they,
died.
oh, I see what you're saying. Yes, exactly. They
So
died from that eternal being.
the first death is the loss of eternity
Yes.
in this body,
In this body.
in this body. So we entered in that attribute that we took on
Hmm.
is this body,
Hmm.
the shadow, duality, the whole 9 yards, right? When we die, of course, we come out of this duality and you think you'd be back with source, right? Here's the thing. Again, this is that energy. What you think is right now, you've stepped into this and everything's solid. Like, this coffee cup is solid and this jar is, it's solid. What you don't understand is we have moved into fluidity. Every energetic decision that we make as somebody just said, everything that we emote, we put in motion, our emotions in motion, that's creating a frequency.
Mhm.
When we die, that's crystallized. What is it ringing?
Oh yeah.
If it's not in alignment with, or if it's not um, coherent with source, you're not going back to source. This is where the whole idea of reincarnation comes.
I was just doing a circle. I'm like, oh, I started doing this, and I'm like, why am I doing this?
Right. This is where the reincarnation idea of
Okay, because
reincarnation
what they were
comes.
showing me earlier was, I mean, some of this we kind of know, but at the same time, it's all getting put into a bigger picture story. Is we're reclaiming our frequency that we gave
Yes,
away back in that day that we've been talking about. We reclaim
exactly.
our frequency, so we've got to be of that frequency to rejoin source. I mean, we got to reclaim ourselves, our what
Yes,
our birthright truth frequency is. And so that's the journey, like you just said, through lifetimes.
right. So that's why when you, now here's the thing, we reincarnate. All right, let me be clear. When we come in here, you have a choice, free will, right? So everything's in a fluid, it's kind of like epoxy before it's hardened, right? And you can move it around and you can do whatever you want to do with it or whatever, right? So whatever you grab a hold of in here and you're doing that and that's your frequency and you're resonating. So let's say you're Johnny Badman or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Um, and bad is wrong because there is no bad or good or right or wrong or whatever. But you are incoherent with source.
Yeah.
I want to say love, but love is too broad stroked, right? So you've got all this, you
Oh,
come in here and you're not coherent and you exit, you're now set, right?
uh-huh.
But you still have the choice to do it again.
Right.
You can still say, hey, I want to enter back into the soup because I want to make better decisions or I want to whatever,
Yeah.
right? So I'm sitting here and I'm going, okay, wait a minute. So what you're telling me then is there is a hell? Oh no, there's no hell.
No. Okay.
But what he's but what he was what he this took some time for me to unpack, right? When we talk about past lives and we talk about all of these events that have happened, like we can talk about the Orion Wars, or we can talk about the Great Lyrian expansion, or we can talk any one of these things, right? The all of that. So what we're doing here when we exit sets us up for one or two things: back to source or the next reincarnation.
Right.
You could choose not to do it,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
and you just hang out in whatever. So this idea is you have to reclaim
Yes.
who you are.
Yeah.
We're
I
good.
want to keep going on this, but I can't do it now. But I want to share this. As you're talking, tell me what you think about this. They
Yeah.
said we've sinned against ourselves. And so then as you're talking, they said
Yes.
that's what it means when they say we're sinners at birth, kind of like we come in as sinners.
Yes.
We don't understand that. That's sinners. That's a whole long continuum of lives of humanity. We've sinned against ourselves in the sense that we've denied ourselves as the divine. We've
Right.
denied the divine part of ourselves.
That's it, right?
I just got massive chills, by the way,
We denied ourselves as the divine.
which is where that whole idea came from. Now they turned that around to use it as powerful or power over
Right.
the people, but that's what it meant in the sense of We're sinning against ourselves by not claiming our God-given rights and
Yes.
power.
Yes. That's the wound of the collective.
It
That's
is.
the wound of the collective right there.
Oh my God, what a way to end this.
Oh yes, that's the, and I'm going, oh my gosh.
It is the wound of the collective.
It's it's literally right here in front of us.
It is. We've denied
But
ourselves.
just like Jesus said, you search the scriptures for me, yet I'm standing right here in front of you and you can't recognize me.
Right. Oh my God.
Oh my
Oh my God.
gosh. Oh my gosh. So I've been on this, I don't even know what to call it, crusade
Yeah.
against religion, the Bible, all and what they brought back or what he brought me. Yes, those writings, they're plagiarized, they're
Shame.
altered, they're, and I was like, I was so angry. I was like, I'm duped. I believed them.
Oh
I
yeah. And
bought
then you come full
in,
circle. Yeah, it's interesting. Now you're back. Yeah, understanding it differently.
but now it's coming back. And he says, it doesn't matter how they change them. And I said, well, wait a minute. What do you mean? He says, oh, it can lead you down some rabbit holes.
Mhm.
However, their source, they are source.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter what they do to them.
Right.
They are source. And all you have to all you have to figure out is, are they imposing on you the rules, the do's, the don'ts, the 600 and however many laws, whatever, or are they liberating you from the illusion you are separate,
Yeah.
you are a God?
Okay, I hope you enjoyed the conversation. I'm going to finish with what Ron sent me, as I had mentioned, after he and I had our conversation. So he says to me, and I'm summarizing some of this. So to close the loop, we have to go through it to get to it. We have to acknowledge what we've done. We have to forgive ourselves and alchemize it. We have to go through it. We can't spiritually bypass it. So we are connecting back into the energy that we had previously dismissed. And so he says, now the phrase, pick up your cross and carry it daily, should sound and feel very different. In other words, embrace, I am Adam and I am Judas, and then alchemize that into presence with Source. So I hope that you've taken something away from this. As I always say, take what resonates, toss the rest aside, but stay open, okay? Take this information, see how it feels for you. And again, I think what we're starting to find is, at least what I'm seeing, is in many of the old texts, all of this ancient knowledge is starting to come back to us, and we're starting to unravel what it really meant. And so hopefully what Ron brought through, which I feel is really powerful, is assisting you today in that journey. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining me today. Check out my services at purplerainhealing.com if you'd like to consider working with me. I'll see you in the next video.